The Carolina Panthers opened the 2022 NFL season with very low aspirations, and the end result of picking in the top 10 and getting a future quarterback. So, how did the year go? Well, the Panthers opened the season with the record of 1-4, which ultimately led to the firing of head coach Matt Rule, which he didn't really have a good year, and most people thought he would be fired even earlier. So, who took over for Matt Rule? Well, it would be Steve Wilkes. In the first game against the Los Angeles Rams, they looked like they were going to continue down the bad path that they were already on, but they did win the 2 out of the next 5 games before finishing the year with a hot streak. They won 4 out of the next 6 games. During that span, they rushed for 994 yards, but in the games they lost, they ran for less than 100. So it shows what type of success they were having as a team. In the games that they ran for over 100 yards, they were winning, but the games that they ran for less, they were having no success. Maybe that could be shown to where the offense just wasn't that great and they needed the rushing attack to balance it, or they just need the rushing attack to really just take over the game. So they finished the season with 2,210 yards rushing as a team, which ranked 10th in the NFL, but unfortunately they ranked 29th in passing yards. But they did have a bright spot with being ranked in 11th in sacks allowed. So obviously a team that struggles, you would expect for them to give up a lot of sacks, but the Panthers didn't. So that's just, in my opinion, a bright spot for them going forward. I believe the Panthers offense will have a bright future with Frank Reich as the new head coach, as he is what people call a quarterback whisperer. Maybe not his last year in Indianapolis where he had Matt Ryan, but Matt Ryan really struggled, so it's not like much could have been different. The goals I think the offense will look to improve on next year will be the rushing attack and maybe the offensive line continuing to play well. Now, for the rushing attack, if they continue to build on it, I think that'll be really good moving forward for a rookie quarterback, because if they have a rushing attack to lean on, they don't have to make all these big plays, and they're able just to have a balanced offense. Now, what type of rookie quarterbacks do I think the Panthers will get? I don't think they'll be getting Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. That's too high in the draft for him. I think a Will Levis or an Anthony Richardson will be a perfect fit for him, especially if Will Levis is going to be ready to go and start for Carolina. But I think if they get Anthony Richardson, I think they're going to sign a quarterback to be a bridge guy for him. I think Richardson will start maybe in 2024 or 2025 because he's really raw. And if he's able to sit and Frank Reich's able to mold him and be able to tell him what he needs to do, I think they'll be a perfect fit for him. But that's only if they can sign a quarterback that is willing to be there for 1 year or 2. Not many quarterbacks are going to want to. So moving forward, I think it all depends on what they do this offseason with the quarterback position. If they just sign somebody and they aren't able to draft anyone, well, then I think they'll look for a Caleb Williams or a Drake May. If they get one of those guys, man, that future will look bright. So how does the defense look? Will that be a bright spot for them, or is it going to be another mess spot? I think the defense moving forward is going to be perfect. I think they're going to be going in the right direction. I think it is going to be a bright spot for them. So how did they do this year? Well, they ranked middle of the road in almost every statistical category except in points allowed, where they allowed the 5th fewest points, which is a bright spot for teams whose offense did struggle a lot this year. I also think the defense has a lot of key pieces going forward with J.C. Horn, if he can stay healthy for big games, and Derek Brown and Brian Burns. Now, J.C. Horn, I believe if he can stay healthy, he can be a top corner in the NFL and someone who offenses are afraid to target. Look at the game against the Buccaneers they had later in the year. They allowed a lot of receiving yards to Mike Evans. He was playing a lot against not too great corners, and I think J.C. Horn's there. I think the defense may actually have a good game, and I think that the offense is going to be able to keep up with the Bucs, and I think the Bucs end up losing this game and making the Panthers now a division contender if Horn's there, because I think he'll be able to stop Mike Evans. Now, Derek Brown, I think he could be a great run stuffer in this league, and I think moving forward he will be. If he's able to continue growing as a pass rusher, I think that'll be a phenomenal way for him to grow. I think he could be one of the best defensive tackles in the future, not right now or any in the near future, but later down the road, especially when his career is winding down, I think he'll go to being a top 10 defensive tackle. Brian Burns. He is somebody that I think has great pass rushing skills and someone that moving forward will be really good. I think he has the potential to be a top 10 pass rusher if he's not one already, but I think he could be top 5 by the time his career ends. He's fast, athletic, and just strong. He's able to get to the quarterback, especially with his athleticism, but also with his power. I hope he continues to develop, and I hope with the new defense coordinator in Elijah Avero, he's able to mold all these players into great players, especially with what he did with Patrick Surtain. I think he'll be able to do that with J.C. Horn. If they're able to have a shutdown corner in J.C. Horn, that is huge, because then it doesn't need much for the defense to get to the quarterback. If they're able to build another shutdown corner, It's going to be scary because of the fact that if they're able to lock down wide receivers, they're going to get to the quarterback rate with Derek Brown and Brian Burns. I also think they also have another great piece in Jeremy Chin. He's a great safety, and he's going to be someone that, in this scheme, could very much grow and have great potential. But it all depends on if they are wanting to buy in. Now, what I mean by buying in, they're going to be able to buy in with what Frank Reich and Elijah Avero are saying, and are they going to want to work with them? Is it going to be different than the Matt Rule era that they had, or is it going to be the exact same? I think once they buy in and once they're willing to work with these new coaches, I think this team is just going to change and be a contender in 2 to 3 years, maybe even longer, all depending on how, if they hit their draft picks and if these players that they currently have do develop. I think this team is going to be good. I think if they hit the right draft picks, they're going to be really good. I think this year they're probably going to go, like I said, quarterback, then probably linebacker, like I said, with Jack Campbell. Now, also depending on if they get another second-round pick or if they already have two, that I think they could draft a Zay Flowers or another wide receiver to help build another connection with the rookie quarterback, but also to give another weapon outside of DJ Moore. Can't just get it all done with one wide receiver. I think the Panthers moving forward are going to look to fix the defense, but also fix the offense in a lot of ways. I think if they can get a quarterback, perfect. If they don't, I think they'll probably not be a contender next year, and I don't think they'll be great, and I think they'll be picking in the top 5 to get a Caleb Williams or a Drake May. The Panthers, in my opinion, have a bright future going forward, especially with the coaches that they have. Elijah Avero is a defensive mastermind, and if he is able to stay there to help develop these guys instead of getting hired as another head coach, which he most likely will, I think this team will be really good and really special. I thank you all for watching. Please click that like button and to make sure it turns blue. Click that subscribe button and notification bell so that way you're notified for any videos. Have a good day, everyone.